Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
Cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
stories. There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just naming things in the room.
Oh my god.
There's a cult of ghosts.
A well-liked, quiet, shy 18-year-old disappears on the night of January 2nd, 2000 in North Carolina. Every lead just raises more questions about what happened to him that night. Motives are unclear, multiple suspects are looked into, nothing makes sense. This week, we're getting tangled up in quite the web while we try and solve the disappearance of Zebb Quinn. I'm Cash, and along with me as always, my co-host, the one, and I really hope the only, that's Joel.
Hi!
What's up? You got the energy?
I'm bringing the energy!
Bringing the energy.
Can you feel it?
I can feel it.
Coursing through you?
It's because you got your hand on my leg.
Yeah, squeezing
so I can feel something. What's going on, man?
Oh, murder, I hope. I mean, I had the six... yeah.
So you're just hoping for some murder.
I come over here looking forward to some murder.
All right.
I want to hear some bad tales. I don't want bad things to happen to people, but it's already happened.
But since they have,
yeah,
like you might as well hear about them.
I like to hear about it and talk about it. Bring that energy.
Well, today, like I said, we got a little bit of this is kind of a short one, but we're still going to dive in. I think this one's going to give us. We haven't solved a case in a while.
No.
You know what I mean? It's been a while. Like, we've had pretty much the definitive endings to our cases. This one, though, we're going to have to solve this one.
Okay.
So I hope you...
I brought my detective hat.
Yeah, I hope.
I got to go out to the car and get it.
Yeah, go get that real quick. Grab your detective shoes and your detective mustache. Get all that ready, because we're solving a case tonight.
Woo!
Before we get to that, though, what's been going on, man? It's been a week. Our last episode is doing pretty well.
You got to quit asking me what's going on.
Like, you got to bring something, man.
Nothing. It makes me feel bad, because, there should be something going on, and there's just not. You're like, what's going on? I'm like, work.
What's one random thing that happened to you this week? Could have been when you went to a store, you stopped at a gas station. What's just a random thing that you did this week?
You're just making me feel even worse. Oh, God, nothing. Nothing, okay? I go to work, and I come home, and I wait for days where I get to see Lily, and I come over here to record.
So you didn't stop anywhere to...
Why are we still on this? What do I have to prove to you?
I'm just trying to pull a story out of you. That's all.
There's nothing to pull out. I'm empty inside.
All right, I hear that. I understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good thought. I feel like I should have something that's gone on since last week, but I just I work.
Well, I'm giving
I can't take shits at work. We're having plumbing problems at work.
You just go outside?
No, I have to just hold that shit.
Oh.
Literally. I have to go home on lunch, and when I go home on lunch, I take a shit.
There's a Speedway across the street from
I did get to go Mart last week at work, but that feels weird because they know me in there, and they know I work right across the street. So I go back into the bathroom, and I come back out, buy my Red Bull, and leave.
Well, I work right down this road from you, so just come over there.
All right.
And just be like, oh, yeah, I'm here to see Josh, and just go in the bathroom.
I hope it gets fixed soon. But yeah, we can't.
Yeah,
I can pee now, but the pipes are really old, and my toilet, the men's toilet was off because they're working on it, and they're thinking about having to get a backhoe at work to dig into these pipes and everything, and just can't take shits at work.
Look, my theory on that is there's still a place that you can shit in.
Yeah.
So the only real problem is that they can't flush it. So you take a couple shits in there.
What if I shit and then mash it all up with my hands so that it flushes down easier?
I'm not trying to put any extra work on you. I'm just saying if you just went ahead and took a shit in there, it's gonna force their hand, and they're gonna get it fixed a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So you know.
Now everything's flushing again, but they just said until they figure out the next move, only liquid.
Until they figure out the next move.
I don't know, man.
Is the toilet fixed or not?
Yeah. And
what do they mean the next move?
So now I have to get up early so I get things going early so I can use the restroom before I get to work. And then I have to just And, I'm 41, middle-aged, mediocre. Homeboy takes some shits. What are we talking about? See, I got nothing.
How did you say you got nothing? You got this whole story about your place of business being ill-equipped to handle shits.
Yep.
Let's see. I knew something happened. I knew it.
You can see it in my eye.
I could see it on your face. As soon as you walked in, I was like, that's a man who's had some trouble shitting lately.
It's been a rough couple weeks. I mean, all weeks are rough, but... you don't realize that until you're told you can't take a shit. How bad?
Then all you want to do is take a shit.
All you want to, yeah. When everything you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. You know what I mean?
I hear you. All right.
Are you happy? You got that out of me.
I knew I could do it.
You got that shit.
But I feel like I've given you now a thing to work on every week where you just try to have one experience a week. That way we can...
I know. I need to step up my game and, start...
because, I've got nothing going on, so I
don't even ask.
I have nothing to...
Yeah.
I have work and then the dull existence that never ends.
Sure.
So, although I do I've possibly got 2 new job prospects.
Oh, okay.
One is working for a cemetery, and the other one is working...
Did you say a
cemetery?
Okay, it just sounds kind of weird.
And the other one is... did it kind of sound like I was saying cinnamon?
Yeah.
Like cemetery. A cemetery. A cemetery. A cemetery, and then the other one is working for, a drug rehab program thing. So I'm really just going for, how depressing...
Yeah. There's a joke there, but I don't want to make it because that just seems dark. But it's a cemetery job, huh?
Yeah, possibly. It's funny, though, because years ago I applied.
People are dying to get into those places.
Yeah.
My dad told me that joke one time.
I posted on Twitter the other day about how I was possibly getting a job at the cemetery. Well, hold on. I'll get to why you missed it.
Okay.
And then I put, just a simple little tweet, just possibly getting hired on in the cemetery, cross his fingers. Then I turned around and deleted that tweet not too long after that. Main reason is because I knew you or Schmarsh were going to post whose fingers are you crossing, or some joke about crossing a dead person's fingers. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not allowing it to be made.
If you try, it depends on how freshly dead they are. But I think the deader they are, they're harder to cross.
That is true.
Dead men don't cross their fingers.
Until they become bones, then you just take the bones.
Oh yeah. So good luck.
So years ago, I applied for a cemetery job. Just being stupid because my roommate applied for one. And I didn't need the job. I already had a job. But he had 2 applications. He accidentally grabbed 2.
Yeah, you got to fill them out.
So I was just like, I'll fill this out. But I put on there that I would be highly qualified for the position due to my thorough background in zombie movies. That's exactly what I put on there.
Oh, my God.
They called me for an interview. They didn't call him for one.
They liked your gumption.
Well, it made me think, you know what? Zombies are real.
Yeah.
They saw that and they were like, all right, this guy knows.
And if you see one zombie, you're gonna be on top of it.
Probably not now. I'm too old now.
I mean, so would you be digging graves?
No, it's like a data entry type thing, like an office position, which I didn't think there was that much paperwork. Yeah. But we'll see.
I mean, death is pretty, and it's pretty popular right now.
I mean, you got
a lot
job
of people
security.
Are dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So
get busy living, or
fun way to look at it.
You get a job at a cemetery.
But we'll see. We'll see. If I start doing that, I'll be doing a podcast about death, and I'll be working
close with
death, and my whole life will just be
death and taxes.
Death and taxes.
Yep, those are the 2 things you can count on. That'll be your job.
What a fun life! What a fun life. Well, you want to get into this story?
Yes.
Okay. You sure you don't have any other stories?
Trust me, I don't.
Nothing else happened to you?
Nothing else has happened to me.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait, I mean, I did find $1 million, but we don't want to get into all that. No.
I mean, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that?
Money.
I'm going to murder you and take that money. Okay, so we're going...
said that into the microphone.
Oh, well, I can edit things,
okay.
So it's fine. I can say anything I want. We're going back to Sunday, January 2nd, in the year 2000.
In the year 2000...
Oh, I miss when Conan was funny.
Conan was the
best. And Late Night was good.
Yeah.
We're going to Asheville, North Carolina, where 18-year-old Zebb Quinn was ending his shift in the electronics department at Walmart around 9 p.m.
That's a quality name, Zebb.
Zebb.
I like that.
My middle name is Zebediah, so
Oh, yeah?
you can call me Zebb.
Huh. I'm not going to.
Good. Zebb was born on May 12th, 1981, and his mother, Denise, described him as described him as being sweet, shy, and a little awkward. He was in the ROTC and worked part-time at Walmart. He was known as a hard worker, and he'd been saving up his money to buy a new car to replace the Mazda that he'd been driving around at the time. A co-worker named Robert Jason Owens had told him about an eclipse that he had seen for sale in the nearby town of Leicester. So after ending their shift, the two took off to go check out the eclipse, which I guess...
Don't they have to look at it through a box or something? Isn't there like some sort of cardboard box?
Because of eclipse.
Yeah.
Took me a second. Yep, I could not figure out. Okay. All right. Well, you can leave.
Edit that out.
I guess Zebb basically had the money saved up, so he was taking the money with him just in case this was like a good purchase, a good deal.
Buy it. Cash in hand.
This part's a little weird. They both took their own vehicles to go check this thing out. Around 9:15 p.m., they're seen on surveillance footage stopping at a gas station and buying a couple sodas. According to Owens, not too far down the road after leaving the gas station, Zebb began flashing his headlights at Owens, signaling for him to pull over. Once he pulled over, Zebb told Owens that he had received a page. Remember pagers?
Oh, yeah.
And needed to return the call immediately.
They put 911 on there.
Yeah. They put something on there. So
you always put 911 on the pager, say call you back.
And then it was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I never had a pager.
I didn't either, but my cousin did.
I
think we all had a cousin that had one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my cousins did. Owens told him to go ahead and drive back to the gas station and use the payphone that he saw there. And he told him he would just sit here on the side of the road and wait for him to get back.
Yeah.
So shortly after, Zebb went, made the call, came back, and as he returned, Owens described him as seeming frantic. Zebb told him that he had to cancel their plans and that he had to go because something had came up. He didn't really give him any other information, and he took off, and actually when he went to speed off, he rear-ended Owens' car.
Oh.
So I kind of hit the back end of it and just
slow your roll, homie.
And just kept right on going.
Yeah. That's a hit and run.
So yeah, he sped off, and no one would ever see Zebb Quinn again. Oh. So his mother kept paging him that night, but never received a response. She called around to friends and family, but no one had seen or heard from him. The following afternoon, she still hadn't heard back from Zebb, and it was very unlike him. So she went to the police and filed a missing persons report. They really didn't have much at all to go off of at first.
He's 18.
Had his own car.
Yeah, had money.
But 2 days after his disappearance, a call came into the electronics department at Walmart, and it was someone claiming to be Zebb and saying that they were sick and couldn't make it into work for their shift that day. The employee who took the call knew immediately that it wasn't Zebb. She knew his voice. She knew that wasn't him. So she hit star 69 to return the call to whoever just pretended to be him. When they picked up on their line, she was somebody said, "Hello, Volvo." So it was the local Volvo factory.
Huh.
And that's where Jason Owens also worked.
Ooh.
So
I didn't trust this Jason Owens guy.
Well, give him three. I gave you all three names. So
I called into. Have you ever called off for somebody?
Yes.
And pretend to be them, or just called off for them?
Just called off for them.
Oh, okay. I've called somewhere and tried to pretend to be somebody.
How'd it go?
It was awful. We were super drunk. And my cousin had to work it like that morning. So I called his manager. I was like, "Oh, Mike, I can't come to work." And she knew it wasn't. He got in all types of trouble. And
I got
years ago.
I got someone fired. It was when we were doing backyard wrestling, and we were supposed to have a show. And back then, nothing stood in the way of those shows.
Yeah.
So my buddy was he was delivering pizzas for Domino's, and he was like, "I can't do the show today. I got to go work." So without telling him, I just called, and I was supposed to give him a ride. So I just called and told him he wasn't going to make it in. He was sick.
Yeah.
And that he asked me to call, and they didn't like that at all.
No.
Well, then I just went and picked him up, and just didn't take him to work, and we went. and asked where we were doing the show at. He was kind of pissed, but then I was like, I don't tell you, dude. Like, we're here. I'm not. So he was like, all right, fuck it. And then he got fired when we went back.
It's wrestling. Did he win his match that night, do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I probably beat him.
Yeah.
Which was probably even worse.
He's like, come on, you got to be there. I got to be able to beat you so I can go over.
Well, that's a delivery. I mean, whatever. We were 18. Nobody needs jobs then.
No one was dead, though.
No one died.
Yeah. So back to this story.
So, yeah. So
died.
that's where Jason Owens worked, as well as Walmart. The police questioned him, and he told them that Zebb had asked him to make the call for him, but he really didn't have any. So first, all he said was, Zebb asked me to make the call for him.
Uh-huh.
And when they asked him, like, why would Zebb do that, he went over the night of Zebb's disappearance where they had drove out, Paige came in, whatever. He told him all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then he said, and then they found out that through his Volvo and Walmart, that Jason himself had called off from work the day after that. So then when they ask him again about calling off for Zebb, he says, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He didn't ask me to. I'm just remembering it wrong. I think I made the call because...
He misremembered.
Well, he says he made the call because of the concussion that he has. Because the same night that Zebb disappeared, he got into a second traffic accident.
Oh.
And this one, he had to go to the hospital for because he had broken ribs, and he ended up having a concussion. Which that part was true. He actually did go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Had broken ribs, had a concussion, but there was never any report made about the traffic accident. No insurance was ever no file was ever claimed.
So it could have been from anything.
And when they went and looked at his truck, the damage seemed to match up more along with what he had originally said of Zebb
hitting him in the rear end.
There was a little bit of damage. It didn't look like it was enough that it would have caused broken ribs. So, yeah, so that's what he tells them for the reason why. But he denied having any involvement in whatever had happened to Zebb. And while the police did consider him a person of interest, they had nothing that could really hold against him. And there was really no evidence to charge him with anything.
Yeah.
So, during their investigation...
Because Zebb's just missing.
Right. Yeah, Zebb's, at this point, they have no idea. He could just be...
There's no body. There's nothing.
He could just be out driving still somewhere. So during their investigation, they learned of another person in Zebb's life, a woman named Misty Taylor.
All right. Misty Taylor.
Okay. Her and Zebb had developed a romantic relationship in the weeks prior to his disappearance. He was, according to his family, he was really into her. But when police interviewed her, she said that he was definitely more into her than she was him. And she had a boyfriend named Wesley Smith, and she had a baby. And then according to Zebb's family, when Wesley found out that Missy had been talking to Zebb, Wesley was pretty pissed off. Wasn't happy about it. Misty and Zebb kept talking, though. About 4 days before Zebb's disappearance, Misty cut off all communication with him, though.
Did you say they work together?
No.
Okay.
This is they're just
some chick.
Yeah. He's into her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she cut off all communication with him about 4 days before he disappeared. At some point in between then, he calls her because he's worried about her. But he forgot to block his number when he called.
Oh, I remember them days.
So as he realizes that, he gets scared and he hangs up real quick. But then he tells his family about the not blocking the number and all that. And he said he's worried that Wesley might find out and beat the shit out of him or do worse to him.
Oh.
So, police records show...
Dude's named Wesley? They don't have very good tempers.
Wesley, I've only met a couple Wesleys, and they were both kind of assholes.
They're always kind of like...
a little
hot-tempered, yeah.
Fast trigger.
Yep.
Yeah. So, police records show that the page that Zebb got the night he disappeared was dialed from the home of his aunt, a woman named Ina Ustich.
Okay.
Zebb wasn't close to her at all. They really didn't have much of a relationship. They didn't really communicate with each other, so it's kind of weird that
she would page him.
Yeah. So when police went to check into that call, Zebb's aunt said she had not made the call and she had no knowledge of anything about his disappearance. She told police that she wasn't even home that night. She was with Misty's mother, who she was actually friends with. That's why she knew, and then Wesley.
Oh.
And then later, Zebb's aunt, like a couple days after that, the police thing, she then made a police report stating that her house was broken into the night of Zebb's disappearance, but nothing was stolen. That some stuff had been moved around, but nothing was stolen. And she said that this would have happened like between the hours of like 9 and 10, which is about the time
when he got his page.
When
Zebb.
So, kind of weird. The call did come from inside that house, but she says she didn't make it, and somebody broke in, by the way.
In that 1 hour time period.
So January 6, 2000, Zebb's mother, Denise, receives a call from a former classmate of Zebb's who happened to be a co-worker of his mother's at the Asheville Hospital, where they were both nurses. He tells her that she tells Zebb's mom that she's seen Zebb's Mazda in the parking lot of a barbecue restaurant across the street from the hospital. So the car had been left with the headlights on. On the back window was a pair of lips with a bunch of exclamation marks drawn in lipstick. And then in the back seat was a live Labrador puppy.
What?
Yeah. Also in the car was a hotel key. But investigators were never able to find out what hotel it went back to, which is weird. And then they found several bottles of like soda, like stuff like that, and then a jacket that didn't belong to Zebb. So police collected forensic evidence from the car, but uncovered no new leads from it.
What the hell?
The puppy was adopted by one of the investigators, though.
Aww.
So good ending for that puppy. Zebb's mother believes the car was placed there by someone who had knowledge that her Zebb's grandmother, and Zebb's sister all worked right there nearby, and that one of them would find it.
Yeah.
A couple would later call police to report that they had seen Zebb's car being driven around downtown, and assisted police in producing a composite image of the person driving the car. And the sketch looked a whole lot like Misty Taylor.
The girl.
Yeah. But leads went nowhere. Investigators weren't discovering any new evidence. Days went by, and then weeks, and then months, and then 15 years went by as Zebb's case grew colder and colder.
Wow.
So we are going to take an ad break right there, and then we'll be back with the conclusion of this one. All right. So
it's 2015. What's up with Zebb?
It's been 15 years since Zebb went missing.
Yeah.
No leads. The case has grown colder and colder. Until March of 2015. Christy Schoen Codd and her husband Joseph Codd, they disappear. Christy was a bit of a public figure at this time after she had appeared on Season 8 of Food Network Star.
Wow.
I think that's one of your favorite shows.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Can you give
That's why I never get anything done, because I'm always watching it.
Can you give us like a little review of Food Network Star?
Man, there's these people, and it's on Food Network.
Okay.
And they're like, we got to make these stars.
You got it.
And man, it's good.
All right, sounds great.
Yeah.
So she was on. You remember Season 8 then? I'm sure.
Season 8's definitely in the top 7.
Okay. All right. So at the time, yeah. So that's how she got famous. I went and found like a clip of her being on there. She seems like a really nice, like energetic.
Yeah. She brought the energy?
She brought the energy.
Oh,
She seemed like a very happy person. At the time of her disappearance, she was pregnant, and her husband were working on their dream of opening a cafe. So they really had no reason to just suddenly leave town. And even if they did, they hadn't taken their vehicles because those were both left behind at their home.
What the hell?
They stopped answering calls from friends and family.
What about pages? Were they getting back the
This
pages?
was 2015, so I think we're far past pages at this point.
Could I get a pager right now today if I wanted one? Well, it's Saturday, so maybe not today.
Was Radio Shack still open?
I don't know.
Because you could check there. Circuit City, maybe?
I need to get out in the world more.
Yeah, you don't do anything. So
I know.
We'll check on our way to when we leave in a little
Okay.
bit to go to. We're going to a comedy show. And we're not going to tell jokes. We're just going to listen to other people tell jokes.
We're going to judge other
It's
people.
it's about time somebody else entertains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what tangent I'm about to
I
go
want
on.
to judge some motherfuckers.
Yes. All right. So, March 16th, 2015, a man phoned the police with a tip saying he had seen a man carrying 2 large garbage bags to be disposed of outside in the area that the couple were last seen. The police responded and quickly arrested the man they suspected in the disappearances of Christy and Joseph Codd. And that man was Jason Owens.
Oh.
Police did a search of Jason's home, and they found the remains of Christy and Joseph in his stove. Owens had been working for the Codds as a home contractor. He referred to Christy as a good friend. According to Jason, he'd been having car trouble, and while the Codds were attempting to assist him with it, he'd accidentally hit the gas and ran them both over.
Oh,
like you
man,
do.
Yeah.
He said that out of fear of going to prison, he burned the bodies, moved their vehicles, and pawned some of their belongings so it looked like a robbery. Completely normal thing to do.
Sure.
Also,
always cover up an accident. If something's an accident,
always
just complicate it, cover it up.
You know how I don't know, like, if me and you are out there trying to work on a car, which first of all would be hilarious, but we're trying to do that. And,
Step one, leave it in park.
Yes, but whoever it is we're helping, like, I don't know if they ran us over from being stopped and then just. Like, I don't know if we would die.
Yeah, I would think I would, like, try to jump out of the way. I don't know.
Like, I don't see how, like, that could kill anybody.
Yeah, like, here, pregnant wife, come stand right in front of this car while I work on it.
So he pled guilty 2 years later to avoid the death penalty. In April of 2017, he was sentenced to a minimum of 59 years up to a maximum of 74 years. So basically life in prison at that point. The police would end up doing a second, more thorough search of his property where they would find bits of fabric, leather, and some unknown hard fragments under a concrete fish pond. The police would not say if the hard fragments were bones or if they'd found Zebb Quinn's remains at all. One of Jason's family members would say that he had poured the concrete for the fish pond about 8 foot by 8 foot very randomly, and this was right after Zebb's disappearance. The family member would also say that the pond wasn't even located in an area on the property that could really be enjoyed from.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of like off, like, middle of nowhere on the property. And that he never even finished it. He just eventually filled it up with dirt. In 2017, Jason Owens was indicted for the first-degree murder of Zebb Quinn. And while he's been charged with the murder, we still don't know what evidence they have on him.
Yeah.
He has a long criminal history,
if
though.
He admitted to something, or
if so, they haven't. Like, nobody's released that. But he apparently, back in 1999, he got his first DWI. In 2002, he was in a high-speed chase where he shot at the Asheville police.
Ooh.
He was drunk during the high-speed chase.
Furious.
He's also got multiple narcotics charges. Like, so the
let's not judge people entirely on their past, okay? Because sometimes people make mistakes, or, maybe that cop was just like an asshole. I don't know. This guy sounds like, though.
I'd say that when you're in a high-speed chase and you're shooting, you're probably guilty of some things.
He had some narcotics.
He's currently still awaiting trial in prison. The delay in the trial, the county district attorney, Todd Williams, said that several delays have happened because of personnel changes. The case was first assigned to ADA Alex Bass, who left the office to join another DA's office to be closer to his family. The case was then reassigned to former Chief ADA Rodney Hasty, who passed away. And then since March 2020, all jury trials have been suspended because of
Corona.
So, as of right now, there's no trial dates for any cases in that county.
Yeah.
So there's no trial date for his case. Ultimately, there's still several mysteries about the night of January 2nd, 2000. Were Misty Taylor and her boyfriend involved somehow?
He still got the page. He still, because that was like on his, like Jason didn't lie about that because it was on his record, so they know that it came from his aunt's house.
Yeah. So my theory is that it was. I don't know. I can't come up with a motive. The only person that seems to have a motive is Wesley.
Because he was talking to his girl.
That's like the only person that even has a bit of a motive.
Yeah.
I don't think there's I know Zebb had money because they were going to look at this car, but was it really enough for this guy to kill him? I mean, maybe. I guess people do things for small amounts of money.
I mean, Eclipse, back in 2000,
so
had a couple grand on him. I mean,
I'm thinking because the only reason we think that they were going to look at this car is because that's what Jason told.
Yeah,
that's his story. So he may have known
Maybe there wasn't a car.
Well, maybe he knew Zebb was going to look at the car,
Uh-huh.
but he was never involved. But he knew he was going to look at it, and maybe he knows that. Like, I don't know how he would know. Because again, I don't know who knows who. But if he knows that Zebb's aunt's not going to be at her house because she's out with friends or whatever, maybe he sends a page, or he calls from the house saying that it's Wesley. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he draws Zebb out to that house.
Or somewhere else. Yeah.
But I can't, like, I don't know why. But then he had rib and head injuries. Like, could that have been Zebb fighting back?
Yeah.
Some think that Wesley and Misty were the ones that set Zebb up, and that Jason happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that Wesley beat the shit out of him. And told him to stay quiet, but, like, why would you not just kill him, too?
Yeah.
If you're going to kill one person, you might as well.
But, then later, Jason kills those two people, so he's definitely has it in him.
And now that he's in jail, he could say, like, if he was keeping it a secret because Wesley had threatened his life, now he could be like, hey, that was.
Yeah, try to get himself off.
What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do now? I'm already here for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I don't know what all exactly, like, we don't even know what really happened. Like, we don't know.
There's no body, yeah.
Yeah. So, we only have...
You gotta have a body!
We only have Jason Owens' word, like, testimony.
Now, I wonder how he was arrested for that. That's crazy that he was arrested with no body.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that the stuff they found...
They're not releasing all the info.
Yeah. But that's the story of the disappearance of Zebb Quinn.
Oh, wow.
I'll keep up to date on it if there's new information.
Where, North Carolina?
Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Let's
I
go
do too.
Figure it out.
Let's just... Can we need a meeting with Jason Owens?
Yeah.
We're from a podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of us.
I'll get a pager. We'll take it down.
Our credentials? Oh, I'm sorry. We have like 42 episodes worth of credentials, sir.
3,000 downloads.
Yeah. Who are you to fucking tell us we can't be here? We got masks.
Yeah.
All right. So, so unfortunately, don't really have a resolution of that case. We don't even know what really happened. But let's go from the bad news to Joel's feel goods.
We're gonna feel good?
Hit that music.
Yeah. Feels good.
All right.
Yeah.
There's the energy. There's the Bo Jackson
Bring
energy
it up.
we all need.
Yeah.
So what do you got this week for us?
Level 11.
For feel goods. Or feel good.
This feel good. This is just one feel good.
Okay.
But it's finally something good happened to Lady Gaga.
I mean, it's okay. It's Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, her dogs were stolen. Her dog walker got shot, and her 3 dogs were stolen. I don't know if all 3 were. I thought 2, yeah. 2 dogs were stolen, and she put out a $500,000 reward for them, and she got them back. So that's my feel good.
Yeah. So apparently the dog walker, his name's like Jason Fickner or something like that.
I wonder how much. I probably don't want to know how much money he gets paid to walk dogs. Because it's probably way more than
you'll ever make.
Yep.
Yeah. So her 2 French bulldogs were being walked by Ryan Fisher. Is her dog walker. She is currently in Rome filming a movie.
Oh, whoa, Lady Gaga.
Fancy. But yeah, so apparently a van pulled up.
Is it like Police Academy 9? Is that the movie Lady Gaga's doing?
I hope so.
Oh, man.
It doesn't say.
She'd be so good in that.
But apparently, like, a van just pulled up, or a white sedan pulled up. 2 men jumped out. They were struggling with the dog walker. One pulled a gun and fired a single shot into the chest of the dog walker. The 3rd dog escaped and it's been reunited with her representatives.
Lady Gaga got to talk to the dogs over the phone.
But then she offered a $500,000 reward for the return of her dogs, Koji and Gustav. No questions asked. And a couple days later, maybe the following day, I'm not even sure.
It all happened really quick.
The dogs were returned by a woman that they don't think has any involvement in it. but I don't know how she would get a hold of. She
Yeah,
has to be involved somehow.
You would think so.
But she brought them to the police station. Her Lady Gaga's representatives went to the station, confirmed they were her dogs, and yeah. So I don't know if that they're adorable.
Or if they knew by their poker face. Not my poker face. I'm the worst.
The dog walker's supposedly okay.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna pull through, I guess. Like there's not a lot of talk about that.
But the dogs are okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
good news there. I'm glad the dogs are safe.
Me too.
You said that Danny Trejo
Yeah.
tweeted out that he was on the look.
He had people, and they were gonna look for it.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but I would hate for Danny Trejo.
And then you said Patton Oswalt
He's like, greenlight this movie now.
It is a pretty awesome movie idea.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo finds out Lady Gaga's dogs have been kidnapped, so he sends out his apparent gang that he has to track them down. We get a weird John Wick style movie.
Machete is on the case.
All right, so good news for Lady Gaga and her dogs, Gustav, and I forget the other one's name already. We'll call it Kristaps, which I don't think that's it. Bad news for the dog walker. I hope the dog walker's okay. It's my big thing.
Better get a bonus. A bone?
I was trying to think of a way to... Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so...
Keep thinking.
We try.
We do.
We try here. We don't always succeed.
Not hard, but we try.
God, we don't put a lot of effort in. Yeah, you can check... I'm doing another podcast now. You guys can check out if you want to. If there's any wrestling fans that listen, the podcast is called AEWTF.
Behind my back.
Behind your back. Yep. I'm part of it, but that's not my, Jim Tim's running the show. So, he was the one that basically said, fuck Joel, we're not involving him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, we review AEW every week.
You guys just talk shit on me the whole time, don't you?
The whole hour and 40 minutes is just that fucking Joel. Yeah, so you guys can check that out. I'll be sharing the link to that and everything. As always, follow us on all the social media places. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review, even if it just says fuck you guys.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I get off on that.
Make sure you give us 5 stars first, and then call us whatever you want to call us.
Anything you want.
And I don't think we really have anything else. You got anything else?
I don't.
This was a short one this week.
I don't have anything else.
We'll be back next week. We'll try to do better.
Yeah.
No promises.
Try a little bit harder.
We'll see what we can do, though.
All right.
So until then, thanks for listening as always, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.